Hey guys, welcome to the True Blue Riffcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Dave. My name is Christine DeBelle, but many of you know me as Susan from A Talking Cat. And as you know, I have to go and get my cheese puffs out of the oven. So have a great time with Jeremy and Dave. See you soon.
Thanks, Christine. This is the True Blue Riffcast, the number one RiffTrax podcast in the world. I am Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Dave. How's everybody doing? It's very cold.
How are you doing today, Dave? Aside from being cold.
I'm actually inside. It's weird because, I'm inside today.
No,
so there won't be
weird.
any, weird background noises, or at least I hope not. Unless
not from
my
you,
cat decides. Unless my cat decides it wants to destroy something again. But Jeremy, I gotta tell you something. You have very polite children.
Oh, you heard my
I did, yeah.
My youngest, yeah.
So when you guys listen to Rock Till You Die and the fun little cameo intros, Jeremy's youngest, I guess he just said it was his youngest, but one of his kids came up to him. Can't remember what they said, but it was very polite. It's just like, oh, and he's like, oh, well, you did very good. Now go put that back or something. And it was like the most polite little conversation I've ever heard between a parent and a child. I guess that tells you something about my upbringing. But I was like, that was the most polite little girl I've ever heard in my life. And I just wanted to say something about it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, Dave. We do try our best as parents, but today we are going to be discussing a special little thing from RiffTrax that they did starting back in 2014. That's the Total Riff Off, and we'll get into that in a minute. We might also be discussing the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett, aka The Mandalorian. But we'll talk about that.
Definitely be talking about that
at the very end of everything today, in case people haven't seen it yet and they don't want to be spoiled on that. And as usual, before we get going here, we have to take a look at our buddy James Wen's Twitter account.
There's one specifically I want to talk about.
Dave sent me a screenshot of this yesterday. It's a picture of hang on. Let me get to it and bring it up
Oh, that's right. You're live. You
like I do for the people here. The people here on Twitch. Yeah, people can see me. They can't see you, but
they can't see my disgusting ugly face.
So, yeah, right here. Let's do this. It is a brand new 2022 Ferrari F8 for $1 million house scene in Birdemic 3.
It's $1 million.
$1 million. Now that would only be $500,000 according to Rod, but
because
it's a big 50% discount.
50% discount. Ugh.
Yeah. And then he posted this thing. I don't even know what this is. Free. That's like a free charging station, but it's got all these blue swirls and a bird. He's like, "Oh, is this from Birdemic 3?"
No, it's not. You know that. You're the director.
Yes. Yes, Atomic Hero Squad. That is a nice car, though. Yes. I mean, it's a Ferrari. Come on. But it's weird.
She's my hot Ferrari. Plus, it's a plug-in hybrid. My girlfriend's a plug-in hybrid. I'm a big fat idiot. I was also in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Apparently.
We were gonna discuss that when we talked about Book of Boba Fett, but in the last week's episode, there is some spoilers here, but Boba Fett gets his ship back, and he's gunning down the biker speeder bike gang. One of them turns around right before he gets blown up. That's our buddy Alan Baugh, a.k.a. Rod from Birdemic.
So I was a stormtrooper, and I got blown up. I didn't even get a shot off. So
now
you can't
I'm
say
officially
that,
in the Star War.
I'm officially, yes, the Star War, the space conflict known as the Star
The
War.
space. I've been part
I'm
of the
going to
space
go ahead and
conflict.
put myself on Wikipedia. No, it's Wikipedia.
Look for you. Yeah. Uh. But yeah, we tease a little bit, but it's all in good fun. At least with
He's my
Alan.
friend on
Not
Facebook.
with-
I should probably invite him on the show sometime.
Yeah, he actually followed the podcast on Twitter last
Does
week.
he? And
Yeah.
we just made fun of him.
He just started following us. Yeah, I'm sure he's not listening.
Yeah.
He's got other things to do. I know he's
Although this
probably
particular
hiking.
This particular episode got a little bit more attention than we usually get on Twitter over the weekend.
Oh yeah, we were kind of surprised. We had a lot of
We had a lot of
Alan
interaction
does seem
that
super
we
nice,
don't
right,
usually
Josh?
get. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of likes and retweets, and it was kind of surprising. And then my wife tells me after this tweet gets all this traction, honey, we have parent-teacher conference at noon on Thursday. And I'm like, oh, great. So that's why we got pushed back to 1 o'clock. I did do like a quote tweet about that. Hopefully enough people saw it, so they didn't just try and come at noon and be like, oh, these guys aren't even here.
They're Welsh out. What is this,
Yeah.
a Kickstarter? Is this a store? What is
Is this a
going on
store?
here? The hours on the outside say this and that. My cat's
my
giving
juice
me a
box is
glare.
gone.
I put my cat outside earlier because she was being a little spaz.
And knocking everything
And now-
over.
Yeah, and now he's in the yard giving me the eyeball. He just looked at a bird. But it's like, no, buddy, I'm not coming out there. If you want to come if you want to come in, you got to come up here because it is 28 degrees outside and I'm not wearing shoes.
28
so if you want to
degrees.
come back in, you got to come to the door.
That's way warmer than it is here. It's only 11 degrees here right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Riff Cat report, yes.
didn't like the whole East Coast get a frost blast? What do you call those? A cold snap?
I don't know. It was like -1 the day before yesterday, like all day.
An
That
Arctic
sucked.
vortex?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's move on now to our weekend box office because something interesting happened.
Ooh. People went
In
to
our
the
last
movies?
report, Scream had overtaken Spider-Man for the #1 spot. Well, that is no longer true.
What? Wait,
Scream had a 60% drop off,
oh,
and now
you wanna
Spider-Man
know-
is back at #1.
Oh, wow. You want to know why? Because that
Because it
movie's terrible. That movie's
Spider-Man
awful.
over the last weekend brought in just over 14 million. Scream brought in a little over 12 million.
That's crazy.
Sing 2 hanging in at #3, the new movie Redeeming Love debuting at 4th place, and The King's Man holding steady in 5th place.
That's insane. That's Spider-Man, a movie that's been out for a month, retook the #1 spot.
Yeah, usually that doesn't happen. Like if another movie comes out that overtakes it, it usually stays that way. But enough people went and saw Scream and was just like, ew.
They're like, nope.
I'm going to tell my friends to never mind. Wait till it shows up on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, wait till it shows
whatever.
up on Netflix or one of these crazy overpriced
It's a Paramount.
things
It's a
that we all
Paramount
pay
picture,
for
so
now.
it'll probably come up on Paramount Plus.
On
whatever.
Paramount Plus, be on the streaming service that's worse than CBS All Access that it replaced. I didn't know that was possible, but it is.
It's because there's a new season of Star Trek coming out, and it's gonna
No,
be
yeah,
crap.
it's going to be Star Trek Picard season 2, where Patrick Stewart's even more horrible and old.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, neither of us are fans of the new Star Trek series.
No.
Multiple series. Yeah, we didn't care for either of them. But enough about Star Trek. We need to talk about something else that's terrible on TV, and that's the Total Riff Off. So for those unfamiliar, this was an official foray into television.
Yeah.
With RiffTrax and the National Geographic channel teaming up. They initially did 3 episodes on April Fool's Day, and it was just called the Total Riff Off. The first one that they did was Killer Shrimp and Friends,
Right.
which was a bunch of little snippets from like other shows all put together. There's a lot in there, and we'll get to that.
You have a lot of nature people acting overly excited about things in nature.
Yeah, and then we got our first episode of Man v Monster with Richard Terry, where he was trying to find the
con artist, Richard Terry,
the giant demon bat down in South America, Central America, South America. Yes, South America.
One of them takes place in
Brazil.
Mexico. I think the demon. I thought the demon bat was in Mexico.
The demon bat. Okay. See, I just watched these, and I'm already getting confused. Demon Bat was in, Mexico, Central America.
Yeah.
The Brazilian Bigfoot obviously takes place in Brazil. And then that was the last one that they've done.
Yeah.
And the
one
second Richard Terry that they did took place in Thailand.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that because those are like the best.
Yeah, but they all take place like the worst parts of these countries. It's like places
like the
you
most
wouldn't want to
remote.
go.
Yeah. Then we got the episode Guy and His Goose, which isn't just about a guy and a goose. They also have some swamp guys, swamp men, whatever the show was.
Yeah.
And then there's a part of an episode about cadaver dogs, which was really weird. And then we've got, after that, episode 4 was the other Man versus Monster one, where Richard Terry was looking for the Naga. And then we got Animals Behaving Badly, which, again, is a bunch of clips from other shows. And we will be talking about some of that stuff, because
I have some words to say, particularly about one particular thing in that.
Yeah, and Dave watched that before I did, or he remembered it more than I did because he brought something up that I'd completely forgotten in that episode.
Well,
and
I'd completely forgotten most of all this stuff. I mean, like I remember just the basics of it, but I haven't watched this. Like the last time I have an active memory of it being in my RiffTrax rotation would be 2016. That was the last time I know for sure it was in the rotation.
Yeah.
So it's been like 6 years, and I forgot a lot about it. Now I'm going to get into the process of the podcast here for just a second. Lately, Jeremy and I have been recording these and broadcasting them in the morning because that's when we both have time off. And we usually watch the riffs that we're going to talk about right before the podcast, so that like any ideas that we have are still fresh in our brains and we can discuss them, while it's still like right there in the forefront. Because there have been times in the past where we haven't been able to get to the podcast until maybe a week or two after we've watched something, and it doesn't go so great.
Yeah, sometimes we forget what actually happened in the movies because why would we hang on to some of it?
And we have to tap dance, but luckily that was during the time when Jeremy edited the show, so luckily, hopefully you didn't even notice. But so the thing is that last night I watched Book of Boba Fett. I got caught up with all that so we could talk about it today. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to watch all of the Total Riff Offs a couple hours before the podcast starts. Okay,
Yes.
so I watched Book of Boba Fett.
We both had the same wrong memory about the Total Riff Off episodes also.
Yes. So I went to bed, or I tried to go to bed, but I had one of those nights where it just wasn't working out. Like you toss and turn, an hour goes by. I was like, okay, if I start to sleep now, I can sleep for 5 hours. An hour later, if I start sleeping now, I can sleep for 4 hours. And about 4:30 in the morning, I realized this is not working. So I finally gave up and I got up and I was like, I might as well start with these Total Riff Offs now. So I get my computer out. I go to RiffTrax, go to my library, open up 6 tabs, pull up all the Total Riff Offs, and I start playing the first one. And I look down at the runtime, and it's like 45 or 47 minutes. Like, this is 45 minutes? What? So, and like I had initially only scheduled a couple hours because for some reason in my memory, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought these were all only like 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
And-
I had the same thought. I'm like, oh, they were only like half-hour episodes, right?
Yeah.
No, they were hour-long
no,
episodes
they
when they
weren't.
were on TV.
So yeah, no, they're full length, and I did a little, and I started to panic a little. Like, well, thank God I got up early at 4:30 in the morning. So because I did some math, and it's like to watch all of them, it's a 4.5 hour experience,
Ugh.
and so I was just like, wow. So
Dave had a minor panic attack.
yeah. So, but luckily, I got up. So it was. Sorry, I just had to put the cat away. He was knocking stuff over again.
Oh, of course.
But yeah. So Total Riff Off. Where to begin? Where do you want to begin?
I think we should begin with the first episode. Killer Shrimp and Friends. This one, the most notable things on this one is, first of all, like Dave was saying, we've got these experts. I think one of them was what they call her, a biologist with a twist or something like that.
Something where it's like something new and hip and exciting for National Geographic here in the 90s. I mean, it's not in the 90s. Clearly, it's like in the 2000s. That was a big thing in the 90s. It's like updated for the 90s. It's edgy, yeah, man.
It really
Radical.
felt like they were trying too hard to get kids interested in this stuff.
Yeah, it's like they were way too excited to talk about boring nature crap.
There's a couple things in here that I don't think we could call boring nature crap, though. They do involve crap, especially the one with the dog. The spaniel who eats thongs, the teenage girl's thong underwear.
Gross.
Yeah, that was quite a segment. Because they, like, obviously had like a fake dog or something with like a tag sticking out of its butt. Like for recreation. It was very disturbing, very, very, very disturbing indeed. And then they get to like I think that's the one with the Tasmanian tigers, like living, like warming up in the corpse of the other animal that like the parent killed or something.
Yeah.
And that also had the whole thing with the honey badgers trying to get into the beehive. And there's just bees all over it, and like the baby is off to the side, like kind of getting stung a few times here and there. Not as bad as the moment in the animals behaving badly episode.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah.
The first one though, it's more like a bunch of shorts put together. Not full episodes of anything. They kind of bounce back and forth between a couple different shows that they have in there, because it does go back to the people that are way too overexcited about these animals doing normal things.
Be like, we can skateboard and eat yogurt, man, and do yo-yos and stuff.
This mantis shrimp packs quite a punch.
It's like, do you like Kool-Aid and Super Mario Brothers and Sonic the Hedgehog and Bart Simpson?
These animals do.
Whoa, too slow.
It was really sad, like seeing that.
But that's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's exactly how it came off. It was, way over-exaggerated, way crazy. Now, before we move on to the next one, to Demon Bat here, if you guys haven't seen these, I think they're $6 a piece or something like that on...
Right, yeah.
$4.99 for regular video, $5.99 for the HD. So if you haven't seen them yet, you can purchase them individually for $5. Or
Can't you get it on Friends?
You can watch all 6 of them with the RiffTrax Friends subscription, which is like, what is it? Hang on, let me look. $5.99 a month. This is not an ad. We don't get anything for this.
We don't get paid for this.
I'm just saying,
this podcast.
This is just an informational purpose type thing. You can go. You can get RiffTrax Friends. You can watch all 6 of these on there. They also have them up if you use the Pluto TV app, that free streaming thing. I know you can watch. You can watch them on there. If you just like Google search it, I know it comes up to watch on Pluto TV, and it's it's ad. So it's just like watching it on TV because, again, these did air on TV. I'm not sure about the very last one that they did, simply because
Jeremy thinks that it was part of the Kickstarter.
I don't remember if it was a Kickstarter.
I don't think it was.
You may have gotten 4 and 5 as part of a Kickstarter rewards or something.
Maybe. At some
I don't remember. But the last
have
one,
been like 13 Kickstarters now. So
yeah, this is true. Again, it all just kind of blurs together in my old man brain.
That's correct.
But the second one is again, it was our first introduction to Richard.
Richard Terry.
Richard Terry, yeah, and he's chasing down the demon bat in Mexico, and he. This is the one where they found the drawing of the bat in the walls of the ruins. Correct. And they kind of like highlighted it, and it's here. Let me just bring it up again. I can show you guys watching. It's this goofy, like, this is how they show it on the TV. This goofy bright yellow and orange painting that they did. You can actually buy this design on the RiffTrax Threadless store as a t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
The demon bat. But yeah, Richard Terry is hunting down this demon bat, and here we go. There we go. There's the
I think we
bat.
should talk a little bit about who Richard Terry is.
Richard Terry was a cameraman.
Yeah.
When he initially started. And he's one of the biggest I can take nothing and turn it into something type of people out there.
Yeah,
like
he's like, I don't want to say that he's a con man, but I don't know how to finish that sentence. I certainly don't think he's stupid, but I think that he's making content for people who are. Because
it's like the whole Oak Island show. Like, we're going to find this treasure, or the hunting Bigfoot stuff. We're going to find Bigfoot. Spoiler alert, they never found Bigfoot.
Yeah, he never found, in any of these things. Like in every one of these things that Richard Terry does, he goes to like the worst, grossest parts of these foreign countries that shouldn't be representative of that country at all. But he goes there, and he finds some people who say they have been attacked or have encountered this monster, and then he goes and he looks for the monster, and along the way he comes across some kind of water themed or like water related obstacle where he either what's the word, like, where he either like I can't think of the word for it, but he either traverses the obstacle, like overcomes the obstacle somehow, or he just like backs away and like goes another way, like goes another way around. Like in this one, there's a collapsed street, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is so dangerous. As you can see, there's no way we're going to be able to cross this broken street. Even though, like, all you have to do is
walking across it, literally walking across it.
As he's saying that. No, you could just get across. I mean, you'd have to leave your car behind. Yeah. But you could easily get across it. So, or you could just find like another way around. He clearly just like got out of his car and like, oh my gosh, look at this dangerous obstacle.
he very much was trying to make mountains out of molehills. In one part of this, at the very beginning, they're going to this small village, and they're trying to figure out, this demon bat. So they're going to talk to a shaman, and
that he says wrong is like the shaman, or like how does he say it?
It's I don't know. It's like a solar panels type mispronunciation. He says that we can only film in this guy's house, but yet they're very clearly filming other people. And he's like, "Oh, we got stopped at a checkpoint," but you can see some people outside the van that they're in, and they're not like military or police or anything. They're just people.
Yeah, they're just
like, we're going to get escorted out of this. And now I'm going more Australian with my accent, but
crikey. Yeah, no, he seems like a very knockoff kind of
crocodile hunter. That's what
crocodile hunter. Yeah, no, it's just like he's not Australian, and he's not as entertaining. Well, maybe he is entertaining as the crocodile hunter, just like in a different way.
Yeah,
because it's like if this guy did half the stuff that the crocodile hunter did, he'd be dead. Well, I guess. Damn it. Never mind. That was not on purpose. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say because that kind of ties into one of our other ones. But this episode was originally called "The Flying Demon." Yes, no editing. I know. And this is about a mysterious bat terrorizing a Mexican village, and he's going through like all these caves, and he's got all this gear on, and the best part is like, I have to make this jump, into this water at the bottom of this cave. I have to jump off this little cliff here, and it was literally like maybe a 5-foot jump into some water.
Oh, is that the one like in the very last one where he like hooks himself up and goes like rappelling on this waterfall?
That's in the Amazon. That's the second, or not the Amazon. That's the Thailand. The one in Thailand.
Yeah.
Or was it Brazil or was it Thailand? I don't know. One of them. He's got to go.
They're all the same.
It's another remote village he's got to go to.
Yeah, he's going to go find some big monster. Turns out it's a regular animal that he's looking for.
Yeah, in this
that's
one,
how they all end.
He finds a cave full of bats.
Yeah.
And it's fruit bats in the first one.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he finds this mural on the ruins of the bat that we just showed. And that's hang on, I'm going to bring that up again because I love this so much. They find this painting, and he's like, oh, yes, if you look at the nose on it, it's got this thing at the end of it where it goes up, and that's a leaf bat. And this one is vicious because it's got its mouth open. And they go and they find...
saber-like teeth.
Yeah, they go into another cave system, and they find these leaf bats, and they're the same size as the fruit bats, and they're also vegetarian bats. Like the fruit bats, like, really? And then he goes to another village, and these people are telling him about how they would wake up and the blood would just be like running down their faces, and they didn't even feel the bites while they were sleeping. And
that's called a mosquito.
It turns out it's just what they call vampire bats, which when they bite you, it has a thing that makes it so the blood doesn't coagulate as quickly. And so that's why there's all this blood all over when they wake up from being bitten by the bats. But it's not. Nobody's being attacked and beheaded.
Yeah.
Like they said, by these little bats. They're not the mutated versions of these bats from the movie Bats from the mid-'90s. But yeah, that's the demon bats of plain old vampire.
Come back later. I have to
plain
come
old
back.
vampire bat.
To come back again. And maybe find the demon bat after someone's been attacked and tragically killed.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm going to get back here. I don't know how I'm going to get past. I don't know how I'm going to get home because there's a big hole in the road. How am I guess this is my house now.
Yeah, I live here now. The next episode was the episode titled "A Guy and His Goose."
Oh God.
Which centered around this guy who liked to walk through a park, and this goose started following him.
He's a retired bachelor. That's how they refer to this guy.
Yes, a retired
bachelor. I think his name's what, Dominic?
Yes, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they decided that they had to redo the park because it hadn't been maintained for so long, so it was going to be closed for 2 years. And then they're like, well, what do we do with this goose? We put the goose in the zoo. And then the guy got into an accident on his little Vespa, and he couldn't get around to go see the goose for a while, and then he got to go see the goose.
But the goose was like his best friend. It was okay. Look, here's the weird thing.
They thought the goose was a woman at first.
Yeah,
female,
no, but the thing is, he was
woman.
talking about the goose like it was his girlfriend.
Yes,
I mean, that's weird.
I love the goose, and the goose loves me.
Yeah, and they were calling the goose Maria, and then later on they find out the goose is a boy.
They call him Mario.
But they don't say that. You know what they say? Find out Maria is a Mario. Now, okay, now this is how dumb I am. When I hear Mario, my generation, our generation, our mind automatically goes to Super Mario. He's like, he's a Mario? What the hell are you talking about? What? He's a Mario? And then it turns out, they're saying that he's a man.
Yeah.
He's a man goose.
He's a he.
And yeah, it's like, well, and the guy's like, well, I guess Maria is just because I guess Mario is the masculine of Maria.
Apparently, I don't know.
Fact check, partly true, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense, but it just kind of threw me when they called him a Mario. Maria is really a Mario. It's like, well, why don't you just say that? Well, it turns out he has a wiener. You know. Why don't you just say that? It's why do you got to make a joke out of it? Because usually jokes are followed by people laughing. Yeah, and I'm not laughing.
This goose also showed up in a video by OK Go. Where their whole gimmick is.
What the hell is OK Go? I mean, world famous band OK Go. And
their main thing is all of their videos have some sort of crazy gimmick. Like the one that they referenced, they're actually when are you gonna get on the treadmills? Get on the treadmill now. Was their first video that brought them to prominence. It was where they did this big choreographed routine on all these different treadmills where they were going in between the treadmills and doing stuff. Yeah, gimmicky music video savants, as Atomic Hero Squad calls them. Their videos are usually a whole lot of fun to watch, though.
Well, let me ask you this, and this is a question I always ask when I've not heard of something, and this is probably just me being an old man, being out of touch, or just not liking anything past the year 1993. But if they're so damn famous, how come I've never heard of them?
I got my first exposure to them from the 3DS, Nintendo 3DS, because they had a short form video service on there for a while, and one of the 3D videos that they put up was a video from OK Go where they did work with a bunch of rescue dogs. It's a fun video.
Did you get that free with your purchase of Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days?
No, it was just a free thing that Nintendo offered for a year and a half on the 3DS. Atomic Hero Squad, yeah, that was their exposure to it also. But yeah, they were in there and they showed half of the video, and that was how the goose got famous, because the goose needs an agent now. That was one of the things that they said in the show.
Hey, guess what? That goose is probably dead.
Yeah, more than likely by now. Like the seal.
Yeah.
From the So in the first episode, right? Mantis, Shrimp, and Friends, the one with the seal was in there. That was just this huge depressing thing, because they talk about this guy who found a seal in Ireland, and he decided he was going to nurse the seal back to health, and then somebody dropped off another seal to him, and then he got married, and then the seal died, and then he died. The end.
Thanks, man, and Shrimp and Friends. You bastards.
Yeah. A guy and his goose then moves on to the swamp men thing,
that's not
where
nearly
we
as interesting.
see guys from Florida catching alligators. It was kind of dumb. And then the whole thing with the cadaver dogs. Now this one, the guy in here, okay, it was about this company. They train dogs for stuff like that, for cadaver dogs and stuff like that. And this guy comes because he needs one for something over in the Middle East. I don't know. He's got some contract over there where he's specifically trying to find blown off body parts, as he so eloquently puts it. And they give him
do what?
They show him a spaniel. I don't know. And he doesn't want the spaniel. He wants a Malinois because he likes those dogs better. So they're trying to prove to him that the spaniel is better at what it does in finding these body parts. And they have these PVC pipes.
Shoe.
Yeah. They have God. They have
Welcome
these
back to the edit, everybody.
Yeah. They have these body parts in PVC pipes with some holes drilled in the side. And the guy's like, well, what's in there? And he's like, different things. Like there's some skin, tissue, and like some muscle and, things like that. Like he wouldn't say actually what was in the tubes, which probably for the best. But they hid the tubes and the dog found them very quickly. And he's like, well, how do I know that dog's not just going for the tube or the duct tape?
What?
Yeah, like, what? No dog is going to go and sniff out duct tape or PVC pipe. It's the old stuff inside that's leaking out the holes in the side. It was very, very gross. And then they take him into the woods further, and they bring out a severed foot. And then the dog finds the foot, and then the guy's like, oh, I'll take the dog then. And the dog's name was Bullwinkle, and the guy's name was Rocky.
Yeah. I want to die. I want to die.
And that brought up in my memories right now just something from the first episode that I forgot to touch on and is also very disgusting.
Wow. Well, please share.
Yeah. Prepare yourself, guys. No, it was the segment on koalas. And this was back with the people who were
he was
super excited to be talking about this. Now, you may think koalas are cute and cuddly, but they're disgusting. And they're
not bears.
No.
Don't call them bears or someone on YouTube is going to get mad at you.
They talk about how koalas sleep around 18 hours a day. And they eat eucalyptus leaves, and they're like, we don't know why they eat them. They're super hard to digest, and so they sleep most of the time. And then when they have babies, the babies, when they get older enough to be off the mother's milk, then they have to eat, I can't remember what they called it pap. And Kevin's just like, oh, no, you're pronouncing that wrong. And it's literally they hang out. It's I know I sent Dave the quote for this, but it talks about how they hang out around the mother's anus, and they eat the diarrhea.
Hey, let's not. Hey, so, why are we talking about this?
Because it's part of the episode.
Okay, we have to
and then they talk about how they all have chlamydia. Like they said, almost all the koala bears nowadays have chlamydia. So they're covered in their own poop, and they have STDs,
You're on your own.
And they sleep all the time.
You're on your own. I didn't bring this up. I was just gonna let it go.
Oh, we got way worse things than that to talk about, my friend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that was about it for the guy and the goose thing. Once they got done with the cadaver dogs thing, that was the end of it. So that one was, I don't know, the most normal of all the stuff, because then we get right back into Richard Terry with the river monster. This time he's looking for the Naga river monster, which has been attacking people in the rivers in Thailand, and they keep getting bit in the feet.
Yeah, but it's just like the other one, only it's in Thailand, and the monster is a snake.
Yes. Well, supposedly they call it the Mekong flesh eater.
Yeah.
And so he goes into this river. This is the most notable thing from any of the Total Riff Offs. Everybody is familiar with this one because they've referenced this in riffs since then. But this is where we get the famous line, thick brown soup.
Oh, I thought that was the third one for some reason.
It was in this one. In the first one, he when he's crawling around through the cave, he talks about how the water and the mud and the bat guano mixed together on his pants to form a thick guano soup. So apparently that's like his thing.
What?
He likes thick soups.
Thick poo soup?
Yeah, thick poo soup.
Oh, weirdo.
But, first, he thinks it might be a snake, so he goes and talks to somebody about a king cobra, and then he thinks it might be a catfish.
Wait, okay, is this the one where he talks about like they're like for some reason howler monkeys get brought up?
No, that's
that's
the last one.
Okay, yeah, like okay, I'm gonna be honest, guys. They all like all the Richard Terry ones, just like it's all a blur.
It's all
like,
the same thing.
It all blurs together because it's all so similar. Like
it's a very formulaic show.
Yeah,
where he gets on the scent of this mythical creature that's attacking people, and he goes to look for it, and he thinks, well, maybe it's this animal, and maybe it's this animal, and no, guess what? It's this animal, and that's the end of the episode. But that's what it's been for
and then
each
maybe
one.
I'll have to come back later.
Yeah,
and
see
maybe
if
I'll
I
have
can
to
actually
visit this
find
place
it.
again. You know, he gets all wistful at the end. Yeah, it's like maybe I'll have to revisit this place again on my next adventure.
Yeah,
here.
He's in the boat in the middle of this big river, and he's trying to go to this sunken temple where they think the Naga lives, and he's in this boat, and he's got a fish finder. Yeah, the water temple, and he's like, "Oh, there's something moving in the water right there." Oh, it's a log. It's like, come on, dude. You know it's a chunk of wood when you get into it. And then he all freaks out like, oh, it's right here. It's going to get me. No, it's wood. It's nothing.
It really seems like he's making his videos for stupid people or children.
Well, it was
It's
originally
like,
a British television show, so.
Dude, I can't believe anybody watching this would be like fooled by his big gesticulations, like, "Oh my goodness, it's something big and scary." Like, oh, it's nothing.
He had a total of 16 episodes of this show. So, we've got some more that they could do potentially in the future. But yeah, 16 whole episodes.
Been 6 years since they released one.
The Mekong Flesh Eater.
Yeah.
But the main mysterious animal in this one was a freshwater stingray.
Yeah. So he's that. Well, I mean, I guess he outdid Steve Irwin on that one.
I told you that was going to come into play in one of these episodes. Yeah.
It's like, watch out.
Yeah. Well, if your name's Steve, don't go swimming in Thailand. Sorry. That was uncalled for. I actually had a lot of respect for Steve Irwin. Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed
watching
him. Yeah. Anyway, let's get off this train before I say something incredibly inappropriate.
Even more inappropriate.
We
yes.
all know I want to.
Yes. So we're going to move on to animals behaving badly, and this was the horny episode. This one, this had the thing in here that Dave reminded me of that I completely forgot about.
Well, here's the thing. I forgot about it too, and I was telling you about it as I was watching it, because I saw this and I was like, okay, here's what happens, guys. So it's like America's funniest home movies, only with
horny animals.
There's no nice way to say it. With animals raping humans.
Or attempting to anyway.
Yeah. So it's a goat, right? Is it a goat?
It's a deer.
What the hell is it?
It's a buck.
Oh, right.
A buck, white-tailed deer.
So this episode starts off with this boyfriend who like brags about like taking his girlfriend out to meet this animal, a deer, right? And like I don't know how he arranged this.
They were looking at a house,
Yeah.
and a deer came out in the backyard, and
Yeah.
it let them get close, and so
Yeah,
he's like,
let them
I
get
gotta
close. And she's
videotape
just like,
this.
oh, ha, 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 ha. And so she went up to go like pet it and say hi. And the deer wanted a little bit more. And like it attempted to mount her.
Yep.
And like it was like she's trying desperately to get away from it. Like
And the
she's like
boyfriend's just
crying
laughing.
and screaming. And her boyfriend's filming this and saying, ha ha ha, it's trying to hump you. It's trying to hump you.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly what he
she's
says.
just like not having any of it. You know, it's just like, and he thinks it's the funniest thing. And they have to sign a waiver for this to like. So like, what got me was that this boyfriend was laughing at this animal literally trying to rape his girlfriend, thinking it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I mean, like, okay, look, obviously the animal is, innocent. It's an animal. Like, it doesn't know. It's just doing what animals do.
Yeah.
But things that happen in the animal kingdom, etc. But like, what gets me is the boyfriend not only laughed at her, not only taped it, but sent it to like America's Funniest Home Animal Rapes.
Well, they probably posted it
National
online,
Geographic,
and then they're
and,
like,
like,
"Oh, can we use this for our show?"
Yeah, and like, what do you think she'd be like? Hey, like, honey, I have a surprise for you for our anniversary.
You're
have
gonna
a
be on
seat.
TV.
Turn on National Geographic, huh? Happy anniversary! I love you, huh?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
what
then
kind of like if I did that to my wife or whoever, like I guarantee that would not be a happy conversation afterwards.
no, oh no, most definitely not. Most definitely not.
Like after any of those, like after I laughed at her while she was filming during the attempted sexual assault by this animal, and then again later on when I uploaded it to the internet and submitted it to America's Funniest Home Animal Rapes.
Yeah. There's just the idea that they had it on there was yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that wasn't the first thing on here. The first thing on here was the video with the raccoon that got in the chimp pen at the zoo, and they like frisbeed it across the enclosure and into the cement wall, and then it just kind of ran out through a drain, a sewer drain.
Oh. Is this also the one where that baby climbed into a gorilla cage and the gorilla tried to eat it, and then bad things happened to the gorilla?
No.
Oh, no, wait.
They don't have
That was Harambe.
Yes, that they don't have that on this video, that's for sure. This one does have the chain-smoking orangutan, though.
Ooh.
And how the people kept throwing lit cigarettes into the orangutan's pen.
That's kind of awful. Coming
so
from a
it
guy.
could sit there and smoke.
Coming from a guy who wrote a novel about a chain-smoking monkey.
But that's a book,
I gotta
Dave.
say-
That's not real life.
Yeah. I gotta say, I find this kind of morbid.
There's a cheetah who climbs up in a photographer's safari jeep and poops on him through the sunroof. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They showed like the poo dropping.
Yeah, and he like caught it in a napkin or something.
Like
Paper
what?
towel.
No. Be like, hey, I got pooed on by a cat.
Yeah.
I can get that at home.
We got what else was in this one? Oh, the turtle in the shoe. The turtle being amorous with the shoe, and making his little noises.
Yeah.
We got the another raccoon in this one. There was a guy who raised the raccoon from a baby, and it grew up, and it literally was tearing apart his house, like everything in his house.
Well, what do you expect?
A bear cub got in somebody's garage, and the mama bear was trying to get it out by like pushing up on the garage door more. That was
These are just
interesting.
bad home movies. This really is America's funniest home animal attacks.
Yes. There was video of rats eating their babies. Things started getting a little disturbing at that point because then we had the thing with the elephant having a baby at the zoo, and everybody's like, "Oh, baby at the zoo," and then the baby wasn't moving, so the elephant started kicking it around. And I know it's nature, but when you see a bloody baby elephant on the ground being booted by its mama, it's uncomfortable to watch. Of course, the elephant was doing that because it was
That's
what they do.
Yeah.
They do that to wake them up, and then they start getting around.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah. Very disturbing, but
Yeah. Oh, well,
Atomic Hero Squad said that the chain smoking orangutan was life imitating art when you were talking about your book.
Yes, that's correct.
And that the orangutan read your book and was inspired to smoke. So
good.
they're
I'm
throwing you
glad.
under the bus.
I get. Hey, just go to winstonsalem.info and input the checkout promo code True Blue RiffTrax. Or something. Yeah.
Is Winston-Salem, are they even like a company in business anymore?
No, well, no. I'm doing a bit here, Jeremy.
I understand, but my brain has to take
We're
it.
funded by Big Tobacco.
Big Tobacco, yes.
It's wildly inappropriate.
Go smoke.
Yep.
Go start smoking, kids. So yeah, that's the gist of animals behaving badly. It's either really horny or really gross.
But that's not even like the worst thing that we've seen elephants do on videos, though.
Oh, no.
I can think of at least 2 videos with elephants that are more disturbing than that. One where a mama elephant rejects and abandons her baby, and the baby's like crying in like the zoo because the mom tried to kill it and won't love it, and just it's the most awful thing. You can see the big baby elephant tears down. It's terrible. And then, of course, the world famous, maybe it's not an elephant. I'm sure there's I'm sure there has to be. I just remember it's not an elephant, but it's a hippopotamus. It's a hippopotamus video that marks their territory by pooing disgustingly everywhere.
Like fanning their tail and spraying it everywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, at least we didn't get at least we didn't get that. But I'm pretty sure there's a video of elephant just wildly having diarrhea out there. Let's change the subject.
Let's move on to episode 6. Brazilian Bigfoot. This one is about the Mapangari. And it's some sort of hairy creature who is attacking people
It ends up being a sloth
in Brazil, and it's literally just a sloth. But this is the one where he's going through the jungle.
Yeah.
And he hears these noises, and he's like, "Let's go investigate." And he gets there, and it's howler monkeys way up in the trees. This was when he was using his thermal imaging camera to navigate
in the middle
through
of the
the
day?
jungle. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, "Oh, look, here's the howler monkeys. You can see them just on regular camera. You don't need thermal imaging." But he talked about how they're called. He did give a little bit of interesting information on some of these regular creatures. Again, it goes back to him being a budget Steve Irwin. But yeah, he's back at it with this one. This is the one with the waterfall.
Yeah, this is
he's
one where
going through.
Oi.
He's like, I have to go to this village. He starts off. He's driving a quad, a four wheeler, and he's going down a dirt road, and he's like, "Oh, the compass says I'm headed northwest, and I have to head northeast to get to the village." And he's like, "So I have to leave this here, and I have to pack light because I don't want to carry a lot going through the jungle." And he goes to the jungle. He's like, "There should be a river around here somewhere, and it might be raised up a little bit because they've had a lot of rain." And he gets there, and there's this torrential waterfall right where he is. And he's like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this." And they're just like, "You literally just said that you were." And so what he for whatever reason decides to do, instead of just trekking, 10 feet to his left through the jungle to get to the part of the river where it's calm, he hooks up a carabiner around a tree and ties some rope in and rappels down the waterfall.
He rappels maybe 10 feet, but he makes it look like, oh my, and he tries to get, like, he tries to make as much, like, noise and as much, he's just, like, so dramatic about it.
I'm going to die. The river's going to, or the river's going to break the rope any second now.
Oh my gosh, but he literally rappels only like 10 feet.
It's
like
so
that,
dumb.
like that's not an underexaggeration. It's not an underestimation. No, it's really only like 10 feet.
Yeah, it's so bad. But
and he tries to like get as wet as he can. Like, oh, that was so dangerous, mate. Crikey.
Yeah, I'm soaking wet. It's so bad. It's so lame and stupid. And people watched this show. He got 3 seasons. I mean, granted, they were short seasons, but he had 3 seasons that people watched this crap. Like, seriously, how do I get in on this,
Nat Geo, man? National Geographic. You could probably watch it on Disney Plus.
Oh, I bet. You know what? I'm checking right now. I'm checking. Disney Plus. Nat Geo.
Hot Disney Plus action.
Search, yes. Live. You're getting a live search again, guys. Man.
So that's going to be a new segment. We need like theme music, hot Google search action.
No, it's not on here. Dang it.
Oh.
Man versus Shark is on here, but no Man versus Monster. Oh, well.
Boy, the giant plant monster.
I don't get to watch the rest of the dumb. Oh, this killer creature, this mysterious, chupacabra is killing people. Oh, no, sorry. It's just a snake.
Yeah, that's I mean, like, that's all the con man is doing.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel bad because he seems like a nice guy, and he's just paying the bills.
Yeah.
Guy's got to do something.
Got to do something.
A lot of people aren't right now, but he's doing something.
If he can trick people into paying him money for that, I mean, come on.
It's content. Someone's clearly paying. National Geographic's clearly paying him for it.
That's about really all we have to say about these. You really got to watch them if you haven't. They're so much fun. And they're a ton of fun. It's worth the price of admission. So nice. I actually got to watch the original 3 on television when they aired, and being able to watch something on TV, live TV, not on live broadcast, not on demand, and hearing the guys again on a regular television show. There was just something fun about that. And I would love if they ever got to do it again.
Can I be honest? Because I'm known for telling lies and holding back my opinion on this. So.
Oh, yeah.
TV doesn't impress me anymore. I'm a boomer. No, wait, I wouldn't be a boomer. I'm a zoomer.
Yeah, if you were a boomer, it would majorly impress you.
I would be like you. I would be like, yeah, you're a boomer and you're impressed
like
with
me.
TV. Yeah.
I didn't say I was impressed with it. I just said I enjoyed seeing it.
You're only like 3 years older than me, and
but I'm a boomer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, boomer. That's like the worst kind of like if they still had like 90s type of sitcoms.
Yeah.
Today there would definitely be like a sitcom called Okay Boomer. Because like in the 90s it would be like
starring Boomer Esiason. Yeah,
like Talk to the Hand, or
in case you don't know who that is, he used to be a quarterback in the NFL. I believe it was for Cincinnati. Boomer Esiason.
I don't even remember that. Like Boomer Esiason is like, hey man, I stopped me and pro sports. We broke up in like 2003 because I just realized like couldn't care anymore. No, John Stockton and Karl Malone weren't a thing, and it's just like, well,
He was in
bye,
the
I
NFL
guess.
until 1997.
Oh, I should definitely know who he is then, because that's when
Yeah.
I actually cared.
Yeah, he played mostly for the Cincinnati Bengals. But yeah, that would be. Yeah. Josh says I'm from Cincinnati, so I definitely know. Yeah, that's just
What was
one
the
of
name
the
of that
dumb
quarterback
random
from
things.
Cincinnati that was really good for a while, but nothing ever. They never really went any place. Carson something,
Carson
or his
Wentz.
last name was Carson,
I don't
like
know.
2003.
I don't
If we
know.
have Bengals fans in the chat,
Carson Palmer. That's
yeah,
what Josh
that
said.
him,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. He stopped playing. He retired. I don't know. Got hurt. Who
Yeah,
knows?
well, I thought he was back in the day, 18 years ago. I thought he was definitely going to be the next Tom Brady, but I guess I was wrong.
Josh says he might have a car dealership now. I mean, that's usually what happens, right? They go
Yeah.
into either they go into commentary or their car dealership.
Karl Malone and John Stockton have all kinds of dealerships around here.
Oh, I bet they do. Before we get into the True Blue Boba cast,
Is that what we're calling it?
well, I mean, we could still call it the True Blue Mando cast for this particular episode, but before we get into that, we want to wish a happy 10-year birthday to Ghost House.
Yes.
One of our all-time favorite riffs was originally released January 19th, 2012.
Yeah, it's 2012. Get it right. Thank you.
Oh, whatever. Came out 10 years ago. That's the thing we're getting to here.
So let's
10
sing
ye's
the
ago,
Ghost
and it's
House
still
song.
at the top.
So, sorry. No, not that Ghost House song. This Ghost House song. So raise a glass and toast the Ghost House. All you lads drink up. The beer is fine and flowing. Da da da. There's a song. Kevin sings a song like that in Ghost House.
Yes, the
I'm amazed I remember
music
that
from
much
hell.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another
Ghost
one.
House is-
If you have never seen Ghost House, what the heck are you doing?
But nothing.
is
Is
top
my
tier.
cat there?
Huh? No, I said if you've never seen Ghost House, what are you doing?
Oh, okay. I thought maybe there was an interruption there, and somehow my cat got there.
Oh, it could have
and
been
was
my
interrupting you.
because we did get that puppy, and she's very much a puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, she's only 11 weeks old right now, so I don't know what else to expect. Of course, she's going to be a puppy and do very puppy things, like eat everything in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, she chews up everything. It's fun. But yeah, Ghost House.
Ghost House.
10 years
Ghost
ago.
House. Definitely top. I'd say top 5.
Oh, easily. I mean, it's still in my top 3. So
It's definitely my number one on the wish list for RiffTrax Live. Like,
oh my gosh.
if I had to choose between Ghost House, Roller Gator, and Guy from Harlem, I think the first choice would be Ghost House.
A Ghost House live show would be
Ghost House live show.
The
We've said this
best.
many, many times.
the
Many
best.
times in October.
Yes.
Let's
Let
make
that
it
be your
happen.
Halloween
Let's-
show, guys.
Let's start a petition.
Let's go on change.org and start a petition.
Have
RiffTrax
Live
do-
do this.
Josh, we worked very hard to make top 10 lists for RiffTrax, and it is very difficult
Oh yeah,
for us
especially
to do that. He asked how
now,
we
yeah.
can even begin to make a top 10. I made a top 10 initially, like, 2016, I think. 2015, somewhere around there. Like, right after I got into RiffTrax and I watched a whole bunch of it, I started, like, ranking them in my head, and then I made an official list a while ago, and I usually just bump stuff out of that list to make room for newer stuff that's come out
Yeah,
that
new
I
stuff
like more.
like a talking cat that's now 4 years old. But
He does that all the time.
I've been thinking about doing another one. I did a thing on the Riff Wiki, and since the Riff Wiki is now a broken pile of crap, I'm thinking about just doing one for my website for a RiffTrax starter kit where it goes through and there's like 4 levels. There's the basics, and there's next steps and deep cuts, and they each have like 10 on there for like new people getting into RiffTrax can like get into it. The last time I updated it, I think was in 2017.
All right. Well, here, Dave. Here's our homework for next week.
Oh God.
Or for our next episode. I don't know when my next day off is going to be. We're going to make that list.
We're gonna. Oh, okay. Are we gonna do it live on air?
Yes, we will. We will go through that. We'll each make our own lists. They're probably going to be very similar. Usually, we find that we do that unintentionally, but we'll do that. We'll do our RiffTrax starter kit lists. RiffTrax. I'm gonna make a note of this on my whiteboard right here.
And be sure to remind me, because you know how I am with remembering things, and the way I remember things is that I don't.
RiffTrax starter lists. There we go. I got that on my whiteboard, so I'll see it and actually remember it. Because if I don't write it on the whiteboard or don't write it down somewhere where I can see it, it doesn't exist anymore. That's how good my brain is at doing things. It just kind of rolled over itself right there. But now we are going to move on to the True Blue Mando cast.
Let's go ahead and call it the True Blue Mando cast. I mean, that's what it is.
That's what it is. So if you haven't watched this week's episode of Book of Boba Fett, now would probably be a good time to bow out if you don't want to be spoiled. And we'll see you guys next time. And if you're going to stick around, great. Whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah, we don't care.
All right, Josh says he wants to be spoiled. All right, we're gonna give everybody. You know what? We're gonna give everybody our end credits. To dip out if they want to. So we'll give our very short version of the end of Rock Till You Die that we normally play at the end of the podcast.
Rock Till You Die. Rock.
And yeah, it's only 16 seconds long. But for those of you who are leaving, if you enjoyed the podcast and you'd like to help support us, you can go to patreon.com/TrueBlueRiffcast, and you can drop us a little bit here and there. Or you can subscribe right here on Twitch, and that will help also. We also accept bits through Twitch here. And all that fun stuff.
I don't get any of this stuff. This all goes to Jeremy. So
all the normal,
you're helping Jeremy. Yeah.
All the normal Twitch stuff. Atomic Hero Squad has not. You haven't seen any of Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian. Okay, you really. Even if we spoil it for you, you're not even going to know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are taking off, make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter at TBRiffcast, and if you feel like it, you can follow me on Twitter at PBandAwesome.
I'm Dave. You can check me out on Twitter at DChadwickAuthor. You can check me out on the web at davechadwick.info. And you can get all my books on Amazon.com. It's Dave. The first one that I'm promoting hard is Monkey, but we also have a new audiobook that's been out for a couple months now of my first novel written 15 years ago, Happy Valley. And the other audiobooks for the other books are getting done as we speak. So, yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Awesome. All right. We will be back with you in 16 seconds.
I guess we're done. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, it has. Okay. That are interesting. That are just. Okay, yeah, so it's like and we talked about this a little bit last week, I think. I'm kind of like with the Book of Boba Fett, with the Mandalorian.
Thanks, Josh. I apparently had left my microphone muted.
So apparently with the Book of Boba Fett, they're very into imagery from the original series, specifically Return of the Jedi. Like, that's really what they're going for. It's like all this Jabba the Hutt related, Mos Eisley, Jabba's palace type intrigue. You have the Tusken Raiders, you have Jawas, you have like all this Tatooine based stuff.
We even got Tashi Station, which was a deleted scene in A New Hope. Luke went off to meet Biggs and a couple friends at Tashi Station, and they recreated the set for that with all the stuff inside. And now I'm not sure, since Alan didn't say anything about this. He was originally credited as the biker gang member who got kneed in the balls by Boba Fett during the bar fight in this scene. But he didn't say anything about that on his Twitter or Facebook. He did come out and mention it after Boba got his ship back and blew him up, that he was one of the guys who got exploded. He was the guy who turned around and looked at it. So I think maybe it was wrong on IMDb about the being the nut-kicked guy.
Yeah. Now, the thing, like, in, like, Book of Boba Fett is that basically the story has been so far is that we're seeing flashbacks to, like, how he got out of the Sarlacc pit and, like, how he got to be where he was when we meet him in The Mandalorian Season 2 and a little bit of Season 1.
Yeah.
And that's intercut with after he's, like, taken over Jabba's territory, and, like, he's, like, on the city council of crime bosses on Tatooine.
He's the daimyo.
Yeah,
daimyo.
Yeah. It's like they're all, like, friends.
Well, I don't know that I would say that.
Yeah, they're all,
but...
like, friendly crime bosses and stuff like that. And he's sort of assembling a gang. He's got his bumper car gang that's incredibly stupid and
the
dumb.
Vespa Squad. Go Gadget
designed.
Vespa Squad.
And he's got evil Chewbacca, which I think is from the comics.
Yes, Black Chrysanthemum is from the comics.
I think that's from Dr. Aphra, I believe. I think that was...
Yes, there was in there, and in one of the Darth Vader things before that. Yeah. And actually, we
Vader
see
down.
how Chrysanthemum
I used to read comic books.
We see how Chrysanthemum gets the scar. Is in the show, he's got the scar like over his eye. In the comics, he gets that from Ben Kenobi after he kidnaps Uncle Owen.
Wow. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, Ben Kenobi slashes him in the face, and
right in the
that's
face.
why he has that scar. But it's been interesting. Like I said when I was muted, it's been very interesting. There's been some really good moments, and there's been some moments that are very eye-rolly, like the main character from Fugitive Rage.
Have not been entertained. I mean, there have been moments where I was like, I think like the stuff with the Sand People was sort of fun to see, but it wasn't enough. Like there's not really a compelling story driving it forward, and there's not really something that like grips me like they did with The Mandalorian. Honestly, and like this sounds horrible, but I fell asleep through large parts of it because I'm an old guy and I was bored.
It's funny that you bring up The Mandalorian though. In
but then,
last week's episode,
they're
talking about the Pike Spice Syndicate and how they're going to basically come attack them and try and start a war. And Boba's like, I need more people. And Fennec is like, well, how many credits do you have in the treasury? And he's like, well, I have plenty of credits. And he's like, why? She's like, because we can always buy muscle. And then they play the Mandalorian's theme song. And then that's the end of the episode. So it's like, Mando's going to show up.
I didn't know they played the Mandalorian's theme song.
Yeah.
But like I was shocked, and then in the episode that just came out, I think yesterday or the day before,
Yesterday. Yep.
it opens up with Mando. I was like, oh, Mando. I was very pleasantly surprised.
And in
because
fact,
I went from being bored as hell to suddenly being very interested and engaged again.
Yes. This is an entire episode of the Book of Boba Fett that they really should just make the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
the episode title is Return of the Mandalorian, and Boba Fett is not in this episode at all.
I have a theory about this. Because Boba Fett, we meet Boba Fett and see what he goes and he gets a bounty, and it's hilarious. He's in some kitchen someplace, and he's on this really cool and he gets a bounty.
He's on a Halo. He's on Halo.
He's on this really cool Halo, and it's just like
it's
not anything you've ever seen in Star Wars before.
Yeah,
and it was just such a cool thing.
It pulled out and showed it, and I'm like, he's in Halo now. Like,
I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is what they should have been doing the whole time. Because I'm actually like engaged again.
Yeah, and he pulls out the darksaber, and he starts like cutting people up in this butchery, and where he's getting this bounty, and he ends up getting really brutal with it. We learn why in a little bit later, but he throws the guy he's there for on his desk, and he picks up the darksaber. And he just and brings it down. It slices through the guy and the desk.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh. And then he cuts the guy's head off and puts it like in a sack. And he walks out, and all the regular workers for this guy are just like standing there. And he's like, look, I don't know how you feel about your boss, but there's a whole pile of New Republic credits in there that doesn't belong to me. And I figure if you let me pass, you guys can go have what I'm sure your boss owes you. And so they all run in there, and he walks out. He did slice his own leg with the darksaber, which makes sense because there's a whole thing with the lightsabers where there's a reason why only Force users use them, because they can sense where the blade is because it doesn't have weight to it.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
with the darksaber, it turns out it does have weight to it because it's literally the opposite of a lightsaber. Because after he gets his bounty, he gets information on the the substrata they call it of this ring, and he goes there, and that's where the armorer is.
Yeah, he goes and he talks to Shovel Knight. Yeah,
they're still alive. Two of the Mandos from. Yeah, there's only 2 of them, but 2 of them are still alive.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them. They're trying to rebuild their society. And
it turns out that one of them is the descendant of the Mandalorian Jedi who made the darksaber. Because while Mando is getting trained in how to use it and learning that if he doesn't get it under control, it gets heavier and heavier with each swing, the armorer says it's because you're fighting the blade. You got to stop fighting the blade. And because she's like, yeah, we don't know what that means yet either, but basically,
I didn't watch your weird Star Wars Rebels cartoon. Okay, it's like
I don't remember seeing that in any of that. They didn't mention that. But basically, he's struggling against it instead of working with it or something. And she's like, you're not strong enough. It will win if you do that. And then the other guy comes down and he's like, that blade belongs to my ancestors.
Like, he didn't have a problem with it before, but suddenly he's mad.
And I'm gonna take it from you because it belongs to my clan.
And
Mando's just like, but sure, I got it. Yeah, he's like, I'll take you on. He ends up beating him, and then the armorer says, I only call her the armorer because I don't remember what her actual name was.
Well, Shovel Knight.
She asks the big dude, Paz Vizsla, if he had ever taken off his helmet or had it taken off, and he said no.
This?
I don't know, because then she asked Mando, and he's like, and she's like, by creed, you must vow. And he's like, yes. And she's like, well, then you're no longer a Mandalorian.
Okay, 2 things. One, I already asked, why is she bringing this up now? Like, what? Like this whole time, she chooses, like, right this second, at the end of this fight where he's about to kill this guy, have you ever taken your helmet off? And number two, are they really, like, there are three of these guys left. Are they really in a position to be throwing people out of their secret society when they're trying to rebuild?
There's only 3 of this group left because they're like the super zealous, like, you have to follow all these old laws or else group. And as we've seen, none of the other Mandalorians follow those rules anymore. And she does bring that up because we actually see the Night of 1,000 Tears where they destroy Mandalore. Like, we actually see it, where they're going by and they're basically firebombing and nuking the entire planet, and then cleaning up what's left with some droids. Very depressing.
But still, there are three members of even this like little sect. If they want to rebuild this little sect, they can't be throwing people out. It's like, who cares about your rules anymore, lady?
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, and even he's just like, all right, fine. He just walks out, grabs his dark saber, grabs his jetpack, and just kicks sand. And
okay, now here's where I'm going to tell you my theory.
I thought you were going to say, here comes my least favorite part of this episode.
No, well, okay, look, I'm going to tell you my theory, and then we're going to get into my least favorite part of this episode, and pretty much all of Star Wars. So I think that Boba Fett, they're doing this season to give Boba Fett a better send-off than he got in Return of the Jedi. They're going to kill off Boba Fett, and they're going to have Mando, Pedro Pascal, take on, he's going to like inherit his armor and inherit the mantle of Boba Fett.
That would be interesting.
I think they're going to do this for they need to do that. They needed to get Mando out because the Mandalorian is really like the Boba Fett Baby Yoda crossover show in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, but they didn't want to, for some reason, they didn't use the real Boba Fett. They just got this other guy who looks remarkably like Boba Fett in his armor and such. Because I guess they figured the Boba Fett character maybe carried a little bit too much baggage, and they wanted to start fresh.
Could be,
but they still wanted that like iconic look. So, like he was really like that. That's kind of like really like the imagery that the show was sold on. Was like, oh hey, look, here's another Boba Fett.
Yeah, here's a new Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we started talking about the show, we just referred to him as Boba Fett.
Yeah,
because
so Boba Fett, yeah. So there's Jango Fett, Boba Fett, and now there's this guy.
Yeah.
And like no one saw, but like what really made the show take off. I mean, there was all this cool like this is the way kind of like new twist on Boba Fett. That was very intriguing and new and exciting.
Yeah.
But what really sold the show was Baby Yoda.
That's the Urkel factor.
Yes, the Urkel factor. That's correct. So this is the Baby Yoda show. Go back and listen to season 2 of the True Blue Riffcast. It's the Baby Yoda effect. Yes. I think that's the actual name of the episode.
I think it was the Urkel factor.
Yeah, or the Urkel factor. But so you have. But then in season 2, they're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we actually brought the for real Yoda, not Yoda, but the for real Boba Fett back?" So now you have a series that has 2 Boba Fett. That's about Boba Fett, but it has 2 Boba Fetts in it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to bring up a little bit of a hot take.
Oh no!
They shouldn't have cast that guy who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones. They shouldn't have cast him as Boba Fett. Because if you go back and you look at Empire, like Boba Fett's this skinny dude, but this guy who played Jango Fett, he was a middle-aged guy in 2002 when Attack of the Clones was released, and now he's like...
He's very barrel-chested.
I know I'm one to talk, but this dude's like 250 pounds now, and he's like an older guy.
Yeah.
You know? So, so anyway, they brought him in and they wanted to give him this cool backstory so they could like show how he escaped from the Sarlacc pit. And I think they're building him up to have a decent send off other than like getting eaten and burped up by the Sarlacc.
Going out accidentally.
Yeah, going out accidentally.
He went out like a punk. But of course Django went out like a punk too. Like
yeah.
But he
So
just landed and Mace Windu just went ramp.
I think they want Mando to take up that imagery because the Mandalorian was such a wild success, and the other like recent Star Wars ventures weren't. It was like the biggest success it's had since The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
So I think that they just want to. I think they want Pedro Pascal's character to be the standard bearer for Boba Fett,
to take
but
over.
they can't do that with the original, with the OG Boba Fett still around, hanging out with Chun-Li in Jabba's palace, killing Bib Fortuna. Blah, blah.
And I think you're probably on the right track here. If nothing else, I don't see this series really getting more than one season because I don't know what they would do after. You know, you have him take over and he's here, and I don't know, maybe he will still be alive at the end of it, but he'll realize, you know, hey, I don't actually need to be this bounty hunter.
I don't need to commit crimes. I can be a nice guy.
Like, I don't necessarily want him to die, but just leaving him there in Tatooine, knowing that he's in charge, and he's trying to
hanging out there with his girlfriend Chun-Li.
He's trying to make it a better place because that's what he's doing. Like he feels bad about the crime because he's like, oh yeah, he's seen who the real criminals are. Like in the last episode or 2 episodes ago with Stephen Root, where he was the watermonger, and he's like, you need to lower your prices. Like stop ripping these people off for water. That's why they stole it. Because you're overcharging them by like 3 times what it's worth.
Now, and, I was like, well, why does Boba Fett care? He's a bad guy, but I guess he's done what they call in wrestling a face turn.
A face turn.
Yeah,
which is weird. Like that's my big thing. Like, really, dude, you're just gonna be this like normal nice guy? Like, you're Boba Fett. You're supposed to be this stoic, you know. Mm-hmm. Guy that's the stoic presence that people are supposed to fear.
Is.
That's what Mando is now,
but they brought Mando back in Book of Boba Fett. We're all caught up, and like I was so engaged with this episode. Like they talk about Grogu and about how he's gonna go. Like it's like, oh, we're gonna see Luke Skywalker.
He gets the Beskar spear melted down, and uses part of it to make something. We don't know what yet, but he makes something. I know
exactly what it is.
For Grogu.
Exactly what it is.
Well, it was chains, so it's a necklace, right? And he's going to put the ball from the Razor Crest on there. That's what I was thinking it was. Yeah.
Okay,
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, it was. Yeah. So here we are thinking that we're going to go see Grogu and Baby Yoda. No, we're going to go see Amy Sedaris, the worst actress in the history of Star Wars.
It's literally his least favorite person from The Mandalorian.
Like she's lower than Jar Jar Binks. She's lower than anything. She's lower than Rose Tico, and I don't even have a problem with Rose Tico. I'm just using that as a barometer for people who might be listening who hated Last Jedi. She's worse than that. Okay?
But the other thing about Boba Fett in the book of Boba Fett, and his actor actually agrees with this. I saw an article the other day. He talks too much. Like he literally has too many lines, and even his actor Tamira, I don't know how to say his first name. He said that he's tried to get them to cut some of the lines out so he doesn't record them, so Boba Fett doesn't talk as much. And Favreau's like, no, you gotta say the lines.
Well, I wrote these. I wrote Iron Man. Come on, my stuff is genius.
But this last episode, like I said, Boba Fett was not in here at all. Half of the episode, this last half of the episode with Amy Sedaris, he had gone to Tatooine because she said she found him a replacement for the Razor Crest, and he thought it was another Razor Crest class ship, and instead he gets a.
He gets an Episode 1 mobile, and I wanted to barf.
Yeah, the starfighters from
Naboo.
From Naboo, which I thought was interesting when I first saw like the engines. I'm like, is she gonna give him a pod racer?
Pod racer? No, that's what I thought
it
too.
was.
I was
be
like,
at first.
no.
I'm like, he can't go into space in a pod racer. But so she makes them. They fix up this ship. They put a few.
Looks pretty good.
They put a few mods on it. They basically turn it into a hot rod, with the big carburetor sticking out of the hood of the vehicle, and like it sounds a little beefier when he starts it up. And he takes off. She's like, "See how it handles?"
And he gets pulled over.
He's like, "It's a little bumpy." It's like, a little bumpy.
Where are your tags?
And she's like, "You're used to flying a gunship. This is a starfighter." And he's like, "Okay, I'll open it up and see what it's got." And he pushes things forward, and he just zips off. And he's like, oh, "The handling's pretty good, but how's the maneuverability?" And she's like, "Well, if you go off in this direction, you're gonna find Beggar's Canyon." And he's literally doing the course from the race, the pod race from episode 1. Yeah, I thought that was cool. And then he's like, "All right, I'm going to see what she's got." And he takes it up into space, and he starts like flying around one of the commercial flights like he came to Tatooine on. And then he gets pulled over by the X-Wings. And we only see the one pilot of the X-Wings at first, and he's like, "License and registration, please." And he's like, "Oh, you just got done building it."
Sorry. And
he's like, "Your engine power." Yeah.
It's like, no, we just built it. Yeah, he was like totally straight with him.
Yeah. And then the other guy's like, "I think we can let him go with a warning." And it goes over, and it's Appa from Kim's Convenience again, the guy that showed up in the Mandalorian the first season, and gave this other character made this other character into a deputy that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to start anything with that. But yeah, he lets him off with a warning,
I see. Yeah.
And he wants to ask him some questions though, and it shows Mando kind of turned his head and look at him for a second, and then he reaches forward and he flips this sublight switch that you put in there that said, "You're really going to evacuate your exhaust manifold, if you know what I mean, if you push that button." And he pushes it, and it's basically hyperdrive without hyperdrive. And he comes back, and then Fennec Shand shows up and says, "Boba Fett needs help. Here's some money." And he's like, "No, it's on the house," because Boba Fett helped him with Grogu. And he's like, "First, I got to go see a little friend." And that's the end of the episode. And it abruptly goes to the Book of Boba Fett music instead of the Mandalorian music, which I was fully expecting because it was a Mandalorian episode. This was not an episode of Book of Boba Fett. This was the first episode of season 3 of Mandalorian.
It was so different. I was just like, and I just like felt like my mood immediately changed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so great. Like we're seeing like new stuff. And like we're actually doing cool things again. It's like this is a show I like.
Yeah.
It's like I remember this.
I hope it stays like this for the last episode or two. I don't even know how many episodes Book of Boba Fett has.
I don't know. I think it has like 8, something like that. Oh, fun fact. Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode.
Yes, I noticed that. At the end,
surprised.
7 episodes total. So we have
I was
2
surprised that a
left.
lady did such a good job. That's a joke.
Yeah. Some of her episodes in the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian were the best. So
were excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
The one with what's her face, Gina Carano, where she made her first appearance, and they fought the ATSTs.
Yes. But yeah. So this episode, if the last 2 episodes of the show stay on this track with this type of energy behind it, it's not even the fact that Boba Fett wasn't in it and it was just the Mandalorian. That's not the only reason why this was such a good episode. It followed a different track. Like the show turned a corner when it hit this episode, and I really hope that there's not a brick wall right there and they have to turn back. I hope that they can keep going in this direction because it will make the next 2 episodes that much better. And my
Are
son,
there only 7 episodes?
yeah, there's only 7 episodes. My son
man.
desperately wants to see Boba Fett riding on that pet Rancor that Machete brought to him.
I want to see Luke Skywalker and Grogu again. I don't want to see Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker.
No, I don't think they would do that, but I think they're probably going to use the technology that the other guy used with the deep fake stuff to make it look a little bit better.
Okay.
I think they would do that again. And I don't know, maybe use Sebastian Stan for his body and then just kind of do a couple tweaks to
I'm fine
his
with
face.
it just being regular old Sebastian Stan. Cause,
I would be okay with that too. He does look similar enough, I think.
I mean, what's he doing? He's being in the Winter Soldier. That was terrible. He needs to redeem himself.
Yeah, he's such an awful.
No. Not the character. I'm talking about the show Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is awful.
So yeah, that's the Star Wars Mando cast, or True Blue Mando cast, or whatever the heck we're calling it.
True Blue Mando cast.
True Blue Mando
You got
cast.
anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. Again,
I think there's
on
no
our
release
next,
tomorrow.
there should be, because we didn't get anything last week. We just had a sale.
I think there
So
is,
we-
because I was looking on the Patreon, and I think
Oh,
they were
is
talking
that-
about.
Is
they're
that
talking
coming out
about
this week?
something.
Is that
Talking about some kind of thing on it.
I saw
that they
the
were very
talking
excited
RiffTrax
about.
that I didn't watch it, but is that the
No,
one
yeah, I
that's
don't
coming
watch
out
that.
this week?
I mean, I pay for it. It's my choice whether or not to watch it. No, they said it's supposed to be. They said next Friday, and that was last week. So
Ooh,
yeah, I think
so
we're getting
that's-
one tomorrow.
Yes. So if you have the page, if you're a RiffTrax patron, then you know what movie's coming out tomorrow. And
See, we haven't. We don't even know.
I know what it is. I just don't want to. I don't want to say it.
Oh, okay.
I want to. People, they'll find out tomorrow, but it looks interesting.
Copper Mountain 2.
Oh God. And on that note, guys, I think we're gonna take off. We're gonna get out of here.
Cool.
Let you get back to your day. And I figured out I played the wrong Rock Till You Die edit. That's what it was. I did play the wrong one. All right, this is the right one. After this one, we will pop on over to somebody. Let's see who's on real quick. I'm gonna start playing
Bob
this, and then I'm
Ross.
gonna start a raid. And
Let's raid Bob Ross, because that's totally relevant to our channel.
I'm gonna see if
Is
Ammo's
RiffTrax
on.
always on?
Yes, RiffTrax is always on. So I'm gonna see if Ammo's on. If Ammo's not on, then my screen started freaking out. If Ammo's on, we'll raid her. And if not, we'll go to the RiffTrax channel. So I'm gonna
I
start
have
that.
no idea who that is. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, really? You don't follow her?
Who? Amrouth?
Ammo.
Ammo?
Loves games. Nope, she's not on. All right. Well, so we're just gonna
I
go
don't
to
know what
RiffTrax.
that is, but send me a link. If she's a fan,
she's a friend.
sorry if you're
Yeah.
listening, because I don't know what your channel is. I'm a
She's
jerk.
a friend. So she's also into RiffTrax. But all right, I'm gonna
Okay.
play this and then we'll go raid RiffTrax, guys. Have a good one.
Rock Till You Die. Are we good? Okay. All right, good.
All right, guys. Thanks again for hanging out, and we're gonna go head over to RiffTrax now. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, guys. Stay safe and be good to each other.